going to complete some sentences for Mr. Shu. Mr. Shu, thank you. And here's the sentences you asked me to complete. First one is about the lead character of the book. His name is Mark. And the sentence is, did you know that Mark? And so to complete that sentence, I would say, did you know that Mark faces the same problems that many kids face? A lack of confidence, getting bullied. He feels weak compared to other kids at his school. And of course, he doesn't know his times tables. So he's facing those kind of challenges. But luckily for Mark, his Uncle Jake is staying with him for the summer. And Uncle Jake happens to be a guy from the SEAL teams. He's a Navy SEAL, and he's about to get Mark on a program to overcome all those little challenges that Mark is facing. I hope the way of the warrior kid, so if I'm going to complete that sentence, I would say, I hope that the way of the warrior kid teaches kids the same lessons that Mark learns in the book. That they need to work hard to overcome challenges. That they need to study, they need to exercise, they need to eat right, they need to train if they're going to be their best. And that's something that I learned in the SEAL teams. You know, for me, nothing came easy. I had to work hard. And I think that's what happens with Mark. So I hope that the way of the warrior kid can teach that lesson to other kids. When I was Mark's age, I actually faced a lot of the same challenges that Mark does. And I think that's probably pretty common for a lot of kids. I didn't know how to study. No one taught me how to study, so I had trouble learning things. I wasn't very comfortable in the water. I used to avoid going in the water. I was scared of it. I wasn't the best athlete, and so, you know, that kind of felt awkward when I was doing sports sometimes. And yeah, got bullied, like most kids get bullied. And it wasn't until I got a little older that I learned how to deal with or overcome some of those challenges that I think all kids face. But again, I hope that this book teaches kids to overcome those problems and they don't have to wait till they get older to figure it out. John Bozak's illustrations are. So John Bozak is the illustrator of the book Way of the Warrior Kid. And to complete that sentence, I would say John Bozak's illustrations are exactly what I pictured in my head. So John and I, we've been friends for decades, since we were kids, and he's always been able to kind of take my thoughts and my ideas and turn them into pictures and turn them into art. And he did it here again. A fantastic job. What he drew is exactly what I pictured. School libraries are, and I would say school libraries are underused, unfortunately. I think with all the new technologies out there and all the different media in the world now, books they're getting lonely. And I'm an avid reader, and I learn a lot from reading. And I actually have a podcast where I review books that I've read in pretty granular detail. And I'm hoping that Way of the Warrior Kid will get kids reading again. You know, not just this book, but many more books after that. Mr. Shu, what you should have asked me was, so I think to complete that sentence, I would say, Mr. Shu, what you should have asked me was, after writing a best-selling book about leadership, why did you decide to write a kid's book? I think that's a pretty fair question. Well, my first book, Extreme Ownership, which I wrote with one of my SEAL teammates, Leif Babin, it teaches people about the lessons that we learned in combat about leadership. And it teaches people how to take those combat leadership lessons from the SEAL teams and apply them to business and to life. And we got great feedback about that book. So since I have 4 kids and I see the challenges that they face. When they were growing up, I was always kind of teaching them the lessons that I had learned in the SEAL teams and how they could take those lessons and apply them to their lives. And that's what my kids did, and they overcame a lot of challenges as they grew up. And so I figured, wait a second, maybe I can put those lessons in a book for other kids to learn to overcome challenges. And that's what I did, and that's where the book, Way of the Warrior Kid, comes from. Thanks. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the book. I definitely enjoyed writing it, and I hope you can take the lessons in it and apply them to your life, no matter how old you are.